Tennis String Vibration Dampeners, part 3. Okay, why a part 3? Because I've already put a couple of posts up and it seems to generate interest, some interesting comments, and I've talked to other people. And I think the consensus is that I don't think people really understand these things. Even myself, let's go and face it. I'm not a genius and I'm learning every single day. So there's actually a couple of things to sort of talk about here. One, what does a vibration dampener do? It dampens vibrations. Without a vibration dampener, our strings sound really pingy. With a vibration dampener, you can hear it's more muted. Now that is actually what a vibration dampener is doing. That sound is a vibration. The vibration dampener is dampening the vibration in the string bed. Because what's actually happening, when the ball first hits the strings will sort of deform and then they will ping back as the ball leaves the strings. So that's the initial impact, the initial shock. But then afterwards you get all these quick oscillations. The strings keep on moving after, like kind of ripples in a pond after you throw a stone into a pond. That's where the high-pitched sound comes from, and that is vibration. This thing absolutely does dampen that vibration. What it doesn't do, when that ball initially strikes the string bed, so that is the initial shock and vibration, so it's got the first oscillation of the racket and strings going back and then forwards, that's your first vibration. This thing does not impact the severity of the shock traveling down from the strings into the frame, down into your arm. So that initial shock, this thing really doesn't do anything. But then we've got to acknowledge that people say that this does help their arm. If they've got a sensitive arm, sensitive elbow, then they do find that these things help. People report that. So you can't ignore it, even if people say this does nothing to prevent the initial shock. So therefore, and I've been sort of reading a little bit about this, it could be that it's not the initial shock that is necessarily causing the discomfort in the arm. It's this continual, if you think about every time we hit a ball, we're getting those oscillations in the strings as they continue vibrating. That will go down into your arm. Now, I've read that they are not powerful enough to cause any damage to your muscles or tendons. But what if you've already got arm issues? What if you've got a sensitive elbow? What if you've got tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, strained tendon? All those little oscillations continue with additional vibration can potentially cause discomfort. So therefore, this little thing, if it can dampen those, effectively think about throwing a stone into a pond with the ripples, this stops the ripples really quickly. Could it be, and this is what I'd be interested to understand, is it less that this thing actually stops that sort of that shock, but also from what I can tell, there's no real scientific evidence that says this does anything to increase power, spin, stiffness. It just really mutes those oscillations and the sound and a little bit of the feel after you've hit the ball. Is it that really people are benefiting from and why they use it? Because it becomes more comfortable to play with one. What's your thoughts?